sure.
That's what this is.
I got you. That makes sense.
This is kind of a little welcoming session. Here's what we can do for you
Makes sense.
if you'd like to explore more type
Right.
situation.
Okay.
And I think it's a great gig.
Sounds
just,
like it.
It's just 28 years too late for me.
Yeah, right. Yeah, well, never too late.
I told the gal, I said, look, here's the deal. I get off at 10. I'll drink one bourbon, maybe two, as I watch my series and turn my TV off at midnight.
Right.
I said, I may have alcohol 7 days a week, and I'm at the gym 6 days a week.
Right.
She goes, well, sounds like you got a pretty good balance.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's good.
All right, I'm set up. Is everyone else ready to go?
Good to go.
Good. Okay. Audra, let us know when we're live. We're good? Thank you. All right, I will now call this meeting of the Beech Grove Redevelopment Commission meeting to order on Thursday, September 18, 2025 at 6:01 p.m. As always, I will ask each member to introduce themselves, starting down at my far right.
Bill Davis, council appointee.
Jenny Wenzel.
Matthew Kochever, President.
David Copenhaver, Vice President.
Andrew Noon, Secretary.
Rob Chalice, Beech Grove City Schools.
All right, glad to see everyone here today.
Matthew, before we get started, could I ask for a favor?
Yeah,
I spoke with some of the other counselors and before the meeting today, and we thought it might be a good idea to have a moment of silence in respect of Charlie Kirk this week. So a couple of the counselors and myself
fine
would
with
like to.
whatever you want to do.
Yeah, so that might be a good idea. We wanted to run that past you, see if we might go.
if you would like to observe a moment of silence,
Yes, sir.
well, certainly we can do that. I will not object if you ask. So
Okay.
we'll
Would
do
you
a
like
moment
me-
of silence.
Yeah, I'd like to ask for a moment of silence for Charlie Kirk, who was murdered this week, doing what he loved more than anything, which was just trying to help people talk and understand each other. And I thought it was a great loss to our country. So I just wanted to ask for a moment of silence. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we'll move on with our first item of business. We are going to take up tonight resolution number 2025-5. This is a resolution from the Redevelopment Commission declaring a new consolidated economic and redevelopment plan. For the folks watching at home, really, we have over the last year-ish, I'm going to say, have been working on really a new redevelopment plan with an economic development also included. REA has completed that work and has delivered us a final copy. Each of the members has received a printed copy as well as a digital copy on zip file. I believe one copy is with our attorneys digitally, or a hard copy, as well as here at City Hall. Each of the members, these are your copies. I will leave it to you when the time comes where you step down from the commission, if you would like to pass that on to your successors, as long as this plan remains the plan. But here it is. So,
Can I make a request?
you-
I
yes.
think it's nice that we have a hard copy and electronic copy. I think we should also make sure that there's one on the server so that our citizens can get it and read it as well.
Certainly,
I'd
yes. I
request
mean,
that.
that's the whole point, is for also them to read it as
Yeah.
well. I do know that I will see about getting one online if it isn't there already. But I do fully expect that once we are done through the process we're starting tonight with the declaratory resolution, once we get through the confirmatory resolution later this fall, will depend on that second step with the city council. Yes, this will go on there much like our current plans are. But make a note to get that on there. But yes, that should be there to read. Got it. Got that note down. Okay. So, I will, as always, or actually, let me start with that first point. So, much like how we have changed TIF areas or added on TIF areas, we will now follow the same process to take this document and make it our new redevelopment plan. Essentially replace the old version from I'm going to say 2005 and amended in 2008 and other times with this. So when everything is said and done, the declaratory resolution, the confirmatory resolution, following the public hearing, this document will all be the thing that we will eventually adopt in at least by November, I hope. Do you want to warn you all? We'll probably delve into this. I'll probably make mention of it at next month's meeting because I foresee us doing the public hearing at the November meeting. Is that obviously, if the members of the public want to make a hearing, they have anything they want to add, we may, I think for the first time, at least I've been on here, we may have to recess, we may have to gather, though observing the rules of the open door law, to take into those comments and just thinking outside the box in case anything may happen with.
My impression was
an
that
addition.
meeting, the public meeting, isn't necessarily for edits, it's just to present what it is.
Present what it is, yes,
It's a presentation, not
But but because of the public hearing to do the confirmatory resolution, we do have to listen to them. Now, I'm just saying that we obviously can just take it under advisement. If we're ready to move on, we're ready to move on. We vote on that. But if we did want to change anything, if there was I'm just saying it's not going to happen. I'm just saying any potentiality that's out there and everything. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. But yeah, I'm with you, David, on what you're there. So, and I may just make that, because again, as you know, when we have done these in the past, we've had public hearing, no one has offered to speak, and we move right on.
Well, see, the problem that we have right now is it's not published to them. So when they come to the hearing, they're not gonna
Yes,
have
of
read
course.
it.
Yes, so-
I mean, they're gonna see it for the first time when they come here.
Yes. Well, yes, and then getting
Because
them
we
on.
have approved it to this level, it seems it might be prudent for us to publish it on
Yes.
our website so that they can read it ahead of time and come to that public meeting with good,
Yes, yes, of
quality
course.
answers.
Yes, of course.
Is it okay?
Oh, no, I agree with you. Yeah, I have it down as a note. I think it should be on there. I mean, it says it's now been delivered to us. This is also a public document, so let's make it easier for them to read the public
Yeah,
document.
right. Okay, thank you.
Yes, Aaron.
Yeah, so the resolution has an attachment page that is currently, is indicated right now to be the length of the document that the plan will be incorporated. When this declaratory resolution.
Could you come up to the microphone so the public can hear you?
And you may have to turn on that mic. I'm not familiar with that setup.
Okay.
Okay. I think I heard you.
So when if the declaratory resolution is approved, we'll have the PDF of the plan attached to this document and uploaded. That was I thought.
Cool.
Where will you upload it?
Well, it'll be on the city's website.
Will it be in the area of the RDC?
It'll be under RDC. I believe there's a section for resolutions.
Okay.
So-
right.
Oh, it'll be on the Dropbox, but my more thinking of was also to put a link on the website. So if you go to our page, you see our names, put a link next to it. That's what I'm thinking. I will talk with the mayor and everything, but I think we'll go on there. We'll probably also put on the signed resolution if we pass it tonight as well.
Yeah.
So yeah. Cool. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Yeah, you're all picking up what I'm setting down and everything. Okay. So then, I don't think there's much to do about this. As you know, I got to read the resolution into the record and everything. So it's 3 pages. So again, as you all bear with me in my docile tones as I go through this resolution. Okay. So resolution number 2025-5, resolution of the City of Beech Grove Redevelopment Commission declaring a new consolidated economic and redevelopment plan. Whereas the City of Beech Grove Redevelopment Commission, as the governing body of the City of Beech Grove Redevelopment Department, pursuant to Indiana Code 36-7-14-15, as amended, the Act, previously adopted Resolution Number 1-2005, as subsequently amended, creating the City of Beech Grove Redevelopment Plan, pursuant to Sections 15, 16, and 17 of the Act, and adopted various allocation areas as part of the redevelopment plan pursuant to Section 39 of the Act. Whereas the Commission now desires to amend and replace the previously approved redevelopment plan and create a new consolidated economic and redevelopment plan, the 2025 Consolidated Plan, which is attached hereto and incorporated herein as Exhibit A. And whereas The 2025 Consolidated Plan was prepared by Rundell Ernstberger Associates, REA, and CWC Latitudes, LLC, and the final version of the 2025 Consolidated Plan was completed in August 2025. And whereas REA conducted numerous community outreach events, public surveys, and meetings with steering committee members to seek input from the Beech Grove community concerning current and future planning for the city of Beech Grove, and whereas pursuant to sections 15 through 17.5 of the Act, the Commission desires to amend the redevelopment plan and replace it with the new 2025 Consolidated Plan, and whereas the Commission has previously caused to be prepared maps and plats of the existing allocation areas showing the boundaries thereof, the location of the various parcels of real property, streets, alleys, and other features affecting the acquisition, clearance, remediation, replatting, replanning, rezoning, redevelopment, and economic development of those allocation areas. And whereas the 2025 Consolidated Plan is reasonable and appropriate when considered in relation to the existing allocation areas, the future potential areas of redevelopment in the city of Beech Grove, and the purposes of the Act. And whereas the Commission deems it advisable to apply the applicable provisions of the Act to the amendment. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the City of Beech Grove Redevelopment Commission as the governing body of the City of Beech Grove Redevelopment Department as follows. 1. The Commission finds that the public health and welfare will be benefited through the adoption of the 2025 Consolidated Plan as authorized under the Act. 2. The 2025 Consolidated Plan is reasonable and appropriate and promotes the purposes of the Act. 3. All existing allocation areas previously designated under the prior redevelopment plan are still separate allocation areas for the purpose of the Act and are not being changed in connection with this declaratory resolution. 4. In response to the findings and determinations set forth in the previous paragraphs, the Commission hereby adopts the specific findings set forth in the 2025 Consolidated Plan and any other applicable redevelopment plan and amendments previously authorized by the Commission, including any reports and studies included or incorporated therein by reference. 5. Except as otherwise stated herein, the terms of the original or any prior declaratory resolutions remain in full force and effect. 6. The officers of the Commission are hereby authorized and directed to make any and all required filings with the Indiana Department of Local Government Finance, the Marion County Auditor, and any other legal body to which the Act requires the Commission to submit findings in connection with the creation of the 2025 Consolidated Plan. 7. The provisions of this resolution shall be subject to all, I'll restate that. 7. The provisions of this resolution shall be subject in all respects to the Act and any amendment thereto. 8. This resolution, together with any supporting data, shall be submitted to the Common Council of the City of Beech Grove, the Council, and if approved by the Council, shall be submitted to a public hearing and remonstrance after public notice, all as required by the Act. 9. This resolution shall take effect immediately upon its adoption by the Commission. 10. Any officer of the Commission is hereby authorized to take such action as is necessary to implement the purposes of this resolution, and any such action taken prior to the date thereof is hereby ratified and approved. Adopted this the 18th day of September 2025, City of Beech Grove Redevelopment Commission. That is the resolution. I'm going to make a motion to adopt that resolution. Is there a second?
A second.
Thank you, David. All right, discussion.
Yeah, I'd like to just make a few comments, if you know. As the liaison between REA and U.S. Commissioners, I worked really hard to try and keep you guys in the loop of how it was progressing. There was different phases, and each phase kind of had a unique thing that we were trying to accomplish. And through emails and reports that I've given to you directly here, I tried to really get everybody engaged. I have to say I'm kind of disappointed. I thought the community and the commission really would have participated more in the development of it. And so I don't know why I thought that, but maybe it was just a wish that I had that we would all work together on it. But anyway, REA did a fantastic job. we just really came up with this idea a year ago, and here we are with the finished product. So the timeline that we did it in, I think, was pretty awesome. And I look forward to taking this as a framework, really, and then using the money that we've set aside to take it to the next level. The idea that we've discussed that I told you is, we have $150,000 set aside. I was going to suggest that we put those into 3 chunks of 50 each and have some specific companies like engineering and project management, those kind of things, do some tasks that get this going. And that's the idea, is to take it to the next level, make it more appealing to developers, investors, that kind of thing. So anyway, I think I mentioned that before. I've done quite a bit of work on it already, and I hope to have it before the end of the year, that we all agree on what it is we're doing with that.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
cool.
So that's my goal.
Excellent. Well, we're on that. You and me, we're going down the same trail and everything, because that is the next thing that's on my mind. Because again, this is a framework, as you said. I think it's a perfect word, but it needs to come to fruition.
Yeah, we need to start turning
Yes.
it into projects, and you know what I
Yes.
mean?
Yes,
And-
exactly.
And that's what we'll do with this next phase.
Yes.
And I think it really will become more appealing. In fact, one of the companies that we're going to work with, it will be a company that will do marketing and sales of the plan.
Yeah. Yes.
So that's
Yes,
an
yes.
important task. So anyway, that's coming up. I'm working on it. I'll try and keep you informed as I progress on that.
Cool.
But the fact that we haven't had one for, 16 years or something now, this is awesome.
Yes.
In the city of Beech Grove.
Yes.
I'm very proud to be a part of it.
Well, I appreciate all your work, David, and everything, and everything. I'm glad that we have this plan. I'm glad that we have this framework and many ideas here to go off of. And frankly, it's I have not been to city council meetings during the budget discussion right now. I think redevelopment is something that has now become even more top of mind because of it generates more revenue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we've got a little money that they might be interested in.
Yes. 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 Is there any further discussion on this matter?
I have a
Yes.
comment and a question. I gave
Yes.
everybody a handout on the Bargersville RDC and something they had just announced. A lot of what's in our plan is kind of wish list type stuff. This seems a little more doable. This is on a 6-acre piece of property. Granted, it's a different location and money and et cetera, but we have to think big occasionally. And I looked at that and I read all the details, and it looks like they covered their bases. I'd like us to start thinking along those lines. Like I said, a lot of what's in the plan is stuff that 20 years down the road may be relevant.
Yeah.
The question is, does the council handle this the same as any other thing that's put in front of them? As they have to have 3 readings, or will they?
No, as I understand from the last time that they were doing their resolution is that they just put before them because it's a resolution, and they will vote on it at the council meeting that the mayor puts on the agenda. My belief is that it won't go on. I'm going to say October 6th. I think that's that first Monday of the month. It won't go on there. There is a second meeting because we're in budget right now. There's a second meeting in October. I believe it's the 20th. It'll either go on there or it'll be on the November 2nd meeting. But either meeting will allow us, if they assume that they pass that resolution, that will give the attorneys the requisite 10 days to put out public notice as required by law for the public hearing that we had to get through, which will be at, I say, our November meeting. But yes, so that will be one meeting whenever that's on the agenda. Answer council's questions, do whatever, and hopefully they will pass that resolution and we can finish this officially. I will read this article. I browsed a little bit through while you were talking, but I will read this article. Thank you for sharing and everything. But yes, I think.
A lot going on out there right now with other RDCs.
Yes.
And we've been lax over the years,
Yes.
not doing what we need to do. And with the city and the shape it's in financially and everybody crying about money, we need to be bringing in money.
Yeah.
And even little Trafalgar, they buy, down there for the farmer's market with my business. They bought a building, they're turning that into a nice little community center. Bargersville is doing this. I think Franklin I think they're doing their economic plan right now, I
Yeah.
believe. For all the complaints about money and all this, it seems like all the cities are moving to try to address that. And it seems like in Beech Grove, we're just crying that SB1 is going to destroy us, and we need to be doing our job, and I know that's the whole point of the economic plan, period.
Yeah.
But, this kind of thing is what we need to start looking at now. We've got this plan passed, and,
Mm-hmm.
and we should be done with paving and roundabouts for a while. And
Yep.
we need to start looking at bringing in some tax dollars to take the
Yep.
heat off the back of all of us who are all citizens here.
Yes, I wholeheartedly agree. Implementation is top of mind. That's why I desperately want to be able to figure out, and why I hope that we have our the vendors to help us with administration of this plan and some other things, marketing, engineering, review and planning and whatnot, because we need to, I think the next thing that we need to figure out is that for some of these things, like the CSX area, the old Franciscan Hospital site, maybe one or two other things that are out here that I see, but I gotta go back to the plan again of figuring out, hey, how much would it cost for us to acquire those properties? And I'm gonna use the word remediate, essentially prepare them for redevelopment and then sell them to private developers, so that we have the most control over it, so we can sell it. We, get in, do our stuff, get our money back when we sell it and everything, reach a deal, and then, get stuff done. Because as David has mentioned to me, and I think he has mentioned us here, and probably when I'm reading, once I read this document, or this article, what I think they're doing in Barkersville is that, and what you have mentioned in Trafalgar is that there are RDCs out there, like Carmel, Fishers, others, that they buy a property and then they redevelop it, or get it ready for redevelopment, they sell it off to a developer. And we need to figure that out, how much would it cost for us to do it all, but also get the cost individually if we do, just based on the money we have
I
and
have a
the
legal
bonds we have to
question
do.
about that. That brings
Yes,
up
of
a
course.
really important point. The question is, can we do what he just said about developing, buying buildings and developing them ourselves as the RDC with the intent of selling it without it being in a TIF zone? Do you know the answer to that?
I don't know the answer to that, and that's why we have attorneys here, right? But your question is that are not currently in a TIF
Right,
zone
yeah,
right now,
yeah.
okay.
You have to get it in a tip zone.
So the TIF zone designation allows you to collect the incremental tax. If there's an area that is in need of redevelopment, which you had asked last time about the definition of a blighted
Yeah.
property. I think when the statute was redone in the 90s, they removed the term blighted, and they replaced that with a term of an area in need of redevelopment. So blighted is no longer used in the statute. But
Broader term, I think.
I'd have to look. I feel like if there were a property that the RDC wanted to acquire, it doesn't have to be in a TIF zone to acquire it. It just needs to be in need of redevelopment. And so that would be something we can obviously look at.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, great. Oh, yeah, because there are some here, like the,
There's two buildings on Main Street right now that.
two buildings on Main Street. Main Street does cover some of the things we do, yes, but there's
312
also
and
the,
315. It's-
remember, there's that area up 17th that was designated, maybe someone turns it into more housing,
Right.
extend the street and everything. Obviously, that's not in a TIF area right now, but obviously, building the street would be our responsibility because it is infrastructure and everything. So, yeah, that's something along there. So, yes.
I think a related issue that Jeff Peters would be in a better position to answer would be how would you do that? And there are questions about what kind of bond issuance you would do to purchase a property if you're going to sell it then for redevelopment versus you purchase a property to remediate itself and not to sell to like a for-profit developer. So those would be two kinds of bond issuances, but that would be something that I think Jeff would be able to speak to.
Okay. Yeah, but I think the key thing will be is that we've got to figure out I'm assuming it's always going to be estimates, but we got to figure out what the estimated cost is for each one, so we know, hey, can we do all of this? Do we have to do it in phases? Do we have to do it one area at a time? So yeah, that's got to be
Yeah.
the thing. Yeah. So then we can actually say, well, we've actually done development and everything, so.
I
yeah.
think we'll learn a lot from this first.
Yes, I believe so. Any further discussion on the resolution? Hearing none, you've heard the resolution. The motion is to approve the resolution as written. All those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? The ayes have it, and the motion is approved. Okay, so I have 3 copies. Andrew has one. I'm going to pass these other 2 down to Andrew. Please sign all 3 of them. Andrew's keeping a copy. 1 copy I will keep downstairs in the clerk treasurer's office to put on file, and 1 is going with our attorneys. That one will be scanned, and I will make sure that, working with Aaron and the mayor, the copy, 1 copy of the signed resolution and this plan is put on the website on our redevelopment commission page.
I'm sorry. I apologize. It was something else. It wasn't
Okay.
you.
So with that, we'll just pause for a minute as we get all 3 signed, and then we will continue on with our agenda. Great. Okay. And then Phil, when you're done, can you pass them back to me, please? Number 2. And number 3. Okay. Thank you. And Andrew, this is your copy. And I'm gonna put these 2 copies right here. All right. Can you pass this down to Andrew, please? All right. Moving on to our next item of business was developing requirements for vendor to assist RDC with execution of new redevelopment plan and other RDC matters. As David had just indicated, you're still working on some ideas and everything, some bullet points. So I don't think we have to go in depth into tonight. I am looking forward to seeing your writing. I believe that we are on the same page with a lot of these things of administration, marketing, engineering. I am happy to put those out separately and everything, though if there is a vendor out there, one vendor that does all 3 things, I'll be happy for them to bid on all 3. But I like the subdivision. I would like maximum amount of folks who may want to, and I'm using bid in not the official term, attorney, so I always see your faces when I mention this, but I'm using bid nonetheless.
I think
So,
what
yeah,
we'll
when
do
they
with
bid
these,
with
that
that.
will be unique. These will have tasks.
Yes,
and
exactly.
So it must too.
Yes,
To these tasks.
yes, exactly.
And that will really move things forward.
Yes, because, so I'm looking forward to seeing that. I have some ideas to add on some. I believe we're aligned on these things, but for marketing, yes, we got to market outside the state, outside of the region, inside the region. And when I say region, I mean Marion County and the donuts. For engineering, I think we should have our own as we get people who come in want to redevelop. Hey, what's that engineering going to be? And it's good to have them on there because they may be able to help us with, hey, you buy this property and you want to prepare it for redevelopment, you want to add on your green space, you want to put in these utilities, you want to knock down this building and go completely flat and everything. Hey, what's that going to cost and everything? Right. That's going to be great. And administration, I think, is key of being someone who's more professional, does this for a living, who can talk with other developers who are looking at doing development, essentially also do meetings. A lot of us work during the day with other city administration with them, but they report to us and give their. One thing I think will be absolutely key that I was thinking about this morning is that a requirement for all of them, especially the one who does that administration, monthly reports in writing. Right. With the potential of, if there's anything big, we can, as we talk about this, we can flex this out, but also coming here to meetings monthly to report, but especially on administration. The last thing is that because we have this new plan, if we get funding applications, I want them to be added on. So it may still be assigned to a member, but you'll do the other key thing. Take it to them, let them have their professional eye on that and everything, saying, hey, can we do this? Does this go with the plan? Is this going to take away from completing the parts of the plan and everything? And that's something that I want on there because I like more. I agree with everyone. I'd like a little bit more
I'll
professional.
tell you about administration, you might
Yeah.
find interesting. A large part of that is grant writing and
too.
project management. Okay, so that's
Yes.
all in there, all right?
Great. Perfect. That's great because the next thing is, yes, we also need to be looking for that. So as a project gets developed, we need folks out there to be writing those grants that are available. Or if we missed a deadline, we know it's going to be coming back around, they'll know it. And then we can plan for that to get ahead of it because, we need the projects to then find the grant money and everything. But yes, perfect. I just said everything in a nutshell. I know David's working on this. I would like to get hopefully someone in place as early in 2026 as possible. So hopefully we can, well, this will be on the agenda next month. If we have everything, we'll be good to go because we'll need to give it to the attorneys. They
Right.
need to put out the stuff. We need to
Exactly.
interview them
Yeah,
all.
we'll have it next month to do that.
Great. So that's really everything that I have on that one. I've made my points to David. David, I thank you for volunteering and, and continuing to pick this up and everything. But is there any other ones who want to give notes into the record, give them to David, because we'll use his base since he's working on it.
I'm
I'll go from there.
interested in any ideas anybody has about
Yeah.
how we can use this plan to promote Beech Grove and how we can take this plan to another level.
Yeah.
So any ideas are good. One idea sometimes creates another good idea.
Yeah.
Well, and I think as well too, it's an excellent idea to be using multiple organizations to assist us, and I like really having those three phases of different things, but also by having multiple organizations, they'll have other people that are different contacts, different areas of expertise, and it'll really help us get the best implementation of the plan.
That's a great point.
Cool. Alrighty then. Anyone else?
I do have one more kind of legal question. There's in one of our TIF zones right now is the Burger King on Emerson Avenue. And we TIFed that when it first got completely rebuilt. That was done by Joe Wright. Well, they're doing it again.
Yeah.
So I'm just wondering, how does that affect the TIF tax? Because,
I think
they
that-
tore it down basically and they're rebuilding it.
I mean, if it increases in assessed value, then we would capture the increase in assessed value
Yeah.
from, I think that's the only difference it's gonna make.
Yeah. That's my understanding as well. That's that's what I expect with what's now Seven Brews and everything. It was the old
Right.
Rallies,
Right.
Seven Brews. I expect that if it's been, after its reconstruction, once the assessor has gone through, if the property value has gone up, we will collect more of that. We will collect that increase. Cool. Yes, that's great. I think, oh no, the KFC's not in that one yet, because they're redoing the KFC and they're gonna reopen it.
Right.
Then we can re-TIF that, but when we do, we start with that assessed value.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yep.
Remember that.
Cool. Okay. All right. Well, that sounds all the way complaint, but do please make sure if you have any ideas, email the RDC account because I know David sees them. I would love to see them as well. Let's share them so that we have a good working bullet points to go through, and then once we have that approved next month, suspect we'll talk about that. We're also going to have the budget spending plan for next month as well. So I will put the 150 that we had this year. I will put it into next year's one so it continues. Though, if anyone thinks it should be more, let me know before I produce the document and send it out to you with the agenda and everything. But if not, I will have my tablet with me, so I can send my files and I have a Word document on there. So we'll do that. So, but do think about that and what else you may want to have in the spending plan as well. Again, I say / budget because the spending plan is now what we have to go off of because we have to adopt one to spend money.
Okay.
Cool. Okay. Well, with that and everything, it seems to be that we're rocking and rolling. I am very excited for the next months and years with actually doing some redevelopment. So with that, we'll turn to the approval of the August 21 meeting minutes that were provided by Andrew, our secretary, and that I have somewhere in my pile. Here we go. I will give everyone a minute or two, look through the minutes. Thank you, Dave. I'm sorry. Thank you, Andrew, for sending over a copy with the attachments and everything. As always, we do appreciate it. And as always, don't be shy if you're ready to make a motion.
I will make a motion to pass the minutes.
Thank you. Phil, is there a second? Jenny?
I'll second.
Thank you, Jenny. Discussion on the motion. Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Can I make a comment real quick?
Yes.
And I was reading the minutes, and as always, Andrew does a fantastic job, and I realized it doesn't always capture what happened at the meeting. And the last month's meeting was tense, and I recommend people at home, either if you can watch it live, great. If you can't, go back and watch it. I don't know who's reading the minutes. Maybe nobody, we just file them because we have to. But even though he gets the minutes almost word for word, it does not capture the meeting itself. So just my recommendation for people at home, if you hear something about a meeting, go back and watch it,
Yes.
because then you can get the feel of what went on instead of just reading the minutes.
Yeah.
Because I read them and I thought, well, hell, this doesn't. So I remembered it, but
Yeah.
it is what was said.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
you at home, go back and watch the meetings. They're
Yes.
exciting.
Very true. I will second that comment. I'm sorry. I didn't actually conduct the vote. The motion on approval of the minutes. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it, the motion is approved. Okay, we will now move on to our docket. But before we do, early this morning, I emailed to everyone, so I didn't have to print off all those copies again, the budget spending tracker that I have. So that's in 3 pages. I brought a copy so I can read them off per usual. The first one is the RDC budget line items spent by month. So this reflects in, the correction that I made on our professional services one. I put the July invoices in the August line. I've corrected that for this month. I put them in their proper place. So for the August line, what was on our docket was only professional services, paying attorneys. There was the fees for putting in the public notices for that public hearing we had to conduct. So that was another $1,945.25 that came off of the line professional services. So that was number 1, page 1. Page 2 is the monthly account balances that we have for the RDC by month. So on September 1, 2025, taking into account what we approved on the docket in August, we had in the account $2,051,357.58. That reflects a deduction of $1,945.25 that we approved at last month's docket. The third page, which has the updates of what the RDC has approved in funding applications in our budget from last year that hasn't been spent down. So those are unpaid expenses that have yet to go onto a docket and whatnot. The RDC balance, again, as of 9/1/25 was $2,051,357.58. We still have $26,749.12 as of September 1 dedicated to professional services, $6,541.74 to the REA contract. That is the last amount due to them under contract. $150,000 for the professional services contract that we just discussed and that we will be developing into next year. $130,000 for funding application 2024-5, the stage shelter at Sarah T. Bolton Park. And then two new ones were the funding applications for road construction, community crossing grants, and the roundabout over at Arlington, Hannah, and I'm going to say Elmwood. The one for the community crossing grant, the road reconstruction, that was in the amount of $161,415.61. The roundabout project was in the amount of $275,865. If everything that I just read was spent down, we would have left unencumbered $1,300,786.11. So that's the update on that one. Let us look at the docket.
I have a comment on that, if you don't mind.
Go right ahead.
One of those line items you read is $130,000 for a shelter in Beach Grove Park. That application was made in December of last year, and there's been no follow-up on it at all. There were very specific things that you, Matthew, put in there, that they have to have the engineering documents for all the engineering documents, and they need to give us the list of the equipment that they're going to buy that has never been provided. So I thought those were good things. Those things haven't ever been done, and those are minimum requirements. So I think that we should expire this. I think it's an application is what it is, and an application should have an expiration. I mean, 10 or 11 months is more than enough.
Okay.
I think that's generous, really.
I'm going to search my emails and talk with the mayor about what is still going on here, but I will, because you have asked, though I do want to express, I don't want to really want to talk about parks anymore personally, but next month, since we're doing our budget plan and everything, you want to, if we can make a motion then, you want to make that motion if we don't have any updates on there, we will take that under consideration and at least get an update on this thing at the very least.
Here's my thing. I think it would be awesome to have an amphitheater in Sarah Bolton Park, but that's not enough money to do it and do it right. And it may not even be the right location that we've heard, from a number of people. But, God, you look at a lot of cities and, that amphitheater brings the community together in so many ways. And I'd love to do it and do it right, and I'd be willing to put more money toward it if it had real engineering and things that need to go into it. So that's my thought. It could be a great thing, but it's the same thing. A shelter is not an amphitheater.
Yes. Yep. Okay. All right. Yes. Let me dig into this, find some things, and see if I missed any emails and anything, get an update on this, and then based on what I can send your ways before next month's meeting and everything, I've said what I said on that next month. You want to vote? We'll have you make that motion. We'll do that next month when we consider that with the spending plan budget.
Yeah, right.
There's too many words.
I think in our application, it should state that this, if it has an expiration date, if they don't do something within 90 days
Yep.
or something, we should state that in there. As we go to the end of the year, maybe we do a number of different things
Actually,
with that application.
On that matter, I do like where you're going on there. We obviously always should feel free to put in requirements and everything. Can I actually ask you to put down for generically, have our professionals, whoever we're going to hire in administration, review our application. I know we talked about that many months ago and everything. Let's have them review that and everything, saying, hey, what are we missing and everything? But I want to make sure that we add that on there of requirements, of status reports, and make sure we're also asking, hey, how long is this project going to take? When are you going to start it? When you think it's going to end and everything? But yes.
And make sure it's got the clawbacks and all that.
Yes. Okay. Cool. Yes, thank you, David. Okay, I'm going to read the docket as I usually do. I'll ask for a motion. We'll do discussion. Okay. The docket reads in part, City of Beech Grove, RDC, the allowance of accounts payable vouchers. We have examined the accounts payable vouchers listed on the foregoing register of accounts payable vouchers consisting of one page, and except for accounts payables not allowed as shown on the register, such accounts payables are hereby allowed in the total amount of $157,440.42. The second page is the account payable register. There are 5 entries. First entry is Milestone Contractors. This is in the amount of $64,473.62. Second entry is also to Milestone Contractors. That is in the amount of $82,654.86. The third entry is to Rundell Ernstberger Associates, Inc., or REA. This is in the amount of $6,541.74. This is also their last invoice that they have to send to us to pay off the remainder of the contract. The next entry is to Lewis and Capps, our attorneys. That is the amount of $3,432.20. The last entry, also to Lewis and Capps, in the amount of $338. You have heard the docket. Can I have a motion to approve the docket before we get into discussion?
I'll make a motion to approve said docket.
Ooh, Andrews, there's second. I will be happy to second that. I'm the one who was left out of the claims. I'm sorry, the receipts and everything. So I may have to borrow some ones. I did look at them beforehand. Thank you, sir. So the first ones that I saw, just to go through and everything, I believe that for Millstone, this is for the funding application 2025-1, the community crossing grant, and everything. So this is part of the road construction and everything. I think it came in two parts. I have not had a chance to ask the mayor this question, but my question is, are these the only two invoices? If they are, that comes under the total amount that we approved. Does that mean that, the cost actually came under, and that means we can free up the remainder of, I'm sorry, I'm not going to do math right now, but whatever that remainder is, which I think is still a couple $1,000s. So I have a question for him. I will, that I need to ask him about that. If these are the only two invoices to complete that funding application, okay, that's great. More money is back and unencumbered and everything. REA, great, they are done. We'll pay them the last time and everything. Okay, Aaron, I'm going to have you come up because we're just going to ask you questions about this anyway. I thought last month, and just asking questions and going down the list on the landfill side was it provided some context and everything, but mostly what I care about are the questions that I asked last time. How close is the attorney to getting down to finding the insurance plan, if there's anything, or the policy that's still out there? That's question number one. Question two would be on this Teams call with Kim Vader and folks. Is there anything come of that? Were there ideas that were generated or potential funding for cleanup, assuming that someone just doesn't buy all that landfill property, including the one that's privately owned, and lessens the burden for us?
Sure. So I think, Bob, do you want to speak to that? Bob was on that call. I was not, so I'll turn it over to Bob.
I thought it was a very productive call. There were a lot of good questions asked by the Kansas State folks as well as IDEM's representatives. And the IU people have sort of a orientation, I won't call it a bias, but an orientation towards liking to see brownfields become solar fields because alternative energy accomplishes several things that are part of their goals. One of their big questions, I guess concerns, is how much needs to be done at the site in order to make that a reasonable goal in order to interest the developer into a solar field. And the discussion kind of was that Wessler had done some analysis out there in terms of different parts of the site and what it might cost to remediate it. Wessler was not in on that call, and we had just lost, I think, our Director of Public Works, so he was supposed to have been on the call, and he took a job at Zionsville, as many of you or all of you know. I don't know what further discussions the city administration has had with Wessler or with any of these other parties, because the attorneys haven't been on all of these calls, just a few of the calls with the IU folks and the folks that IU has brought in. But this was a fairly big Teams call with several people from the IDEM staff and I think 3 people from the IU group. And then there was myself and city attorney and Mayor Kaufman. I think that there's promise and hope, but some things are going to have to be worked out, and you have to pay for the remediation in order to get it up to a standard in which it can be developed by something like a solar company that wants to put a solar array out there. There's also the issue that has not been resolved is that half of it's owned by a private landholder of, land that we don't own, approximately the same number of acreage. There was some discussion, okay, yes, we've got these serious problems near the creek, but can solar arrays start being developed in the center, which is in fairly good shape and flat and doesn't have some of the environmental issues that around the edges, particularly towards the creek and maybe towards the railroad that exist. We are also exploring with another company the possibility of grants. And I know the city administration had talked with one company. Richard Van Reenen in our office had occasion to talk with another company that's involved in that and trying to see what might be involved in getting a brownfield grant. We did discuss brownfield grants in this Teams call, but they sent us some information and they heavily suggested that it took a whole lot of preparation, including engineering and other information if the grant was going to be successful. It can't just be, we've got a bad situation, we'd like dollars in order to remediate it. They're competitive grants and they require quite a bit of upfront work. We're continuing to review that. The administration is, and Richard Van Reen in our office is using some of his contacts because he's had other clients that have used this other company to get grants. And the exploration of possible insurance is still underway. We keep peeling layers off the onion, but we haven't got anybody willing to come to the plate yet. Richard has some ideas on how he might force some of them to come to the plate, but then we get into issues that should only be discussed in executive session.
Okay.
Can I just say something? Real quick?
Yeah. Oh, yes. Yeah. Well, of course. Yeah. This is open
Well,
anyway.
I just want to commend you because I know 5 or 6 months ago, I went through the same thing. I went through the IU ESRI
Right, and you came
program.
up with, you
And I missed-
had the original
Yeah.
contact with them and.
Yeah,
and
and then I
followed
contacted
up with-
Kansas and had meetings with them as well, and they went so good. And at the time, what I remember that really caught my attention was they had $2.1 billion that they were distributing from the federal government through Kansas State on brownfield grants. So they were like, we've got a lot of money to do this, and let's. They were trying to get the money moving. You know what I mean?
They're affiliated as a not-for-profit, but they're affiliated with the EPA and with Kansas
Right,
State.
right.
And
Yeah.
their preference is it's something productive like a solar array rather than just a park.
Yeah.
Although Mayor Kaufman has had discussions with IDEM and with them about
trail go through something, and then there's concerns about, well, maybe a solar company wouldn't want private citizens traipsing through with stuff. So,
Absolutely.
I don't know
Yeah, you
what
gotta
the
keep those
ultimate
private.
answer is, but I think we're edging towards an answer.
Just one more
Yes.
thing. You know, there's potentially a completely different approach for us to look at and take with the city dump. There is a company across the street from the city dump who's using their own 30 acres right now. That's I-4. And they would be interested in moving across the street, getting off their I-4 property so they can sell it. And they would be willing to use their technology, crushing rocks, to do all the things that are requirements from IDEM and meet those standards. Of course, you'd have to buy the land, but also Morehouse is interested in getting rid of it. So I think this thing could come together pretty easily and quickly. And one of the beautiful things about it is that puts a commercial company in a TIF zone that we collect taxes off of.
Yeah, yes. Well, yeah, to recruit the legal
Because
stuff.
it is,
Man,
yeah.
Stop getting out of my brain. I see. And that's a quick there, because I have heard about their interest in Morehouse, and then my hope would be then, well, they're gonna, if them across the way want to buy the Morehouse property,
Yeah, they wanna buy
might
it.
as well buy everything else, because I want it off of
Yeah.
love to get it off the plane and everything.
So I'm just saying, just so you know, that's a direct shot. Maybe you can do that and talk to them in parallel on what you're
Do you
doing.
know whether the administration's talked with I-4? I know they've talked with the Denny's excavation.
Denny, it's Denny is
That's
what
who
it
it
is.
is. I didn't want to say their name, I just was.
Sure,
But
yeah.
it's okay, I mean,
Yeah,
I've talked to the owner and he really wants to do this.
Yeah. yeah, any.
I actually met him on the property and we walked
Yep.
it together and the whole bit.
Yep. Yeah, so, if I hear of anything, obviously if anyone else hears anything, that'd be great, but yes, that would be the key thing, if they're on there.
I'll
that-
forward
yeah.
you the stuff that he gave to me that said he wanted to do this.
Sure, sure.
Yeah.
Send to all of us, okay. The last thing, Bob, before you sit down, that I will only ask is that if the time comes where, is it Richard? Is the other attorney? Richard, we get to the place where you said, bring people to the play and everything, we need to do an executive session, I will rely on you to tell me, hey, we may need to do that so we can plan it out.
Richard
We
would
literally
be at an
right
executive
off the
session where
subway.
Yeah,
it's litigation.
yes. So if we get there, if we want to be able to learn more, we got to go there, but I will rely on you to contact me, then we can arrange that, 'cause
One
that
last
probably
thing,
have to be a
is
different
your
meeting.
goal with Kansas State to get a grant? Is that the goal?
That is one of the goals, but beyond that, they have the contacts that if you bring the property using either tax or grant fund or combination up to a certain standard, they have all the contacts to find developers for solar fields if it meets the parameters.
Is solar a requirement for the grant?
Not for a lot of grants, but it may be for the ones that IU,
Yeah,
the
Yeah.
Resilience Institute.
Yeah.
I think their focus is primarily on
yeah.
creating more alternatives.
You know, the issue that we have with IDEM on that, by the way, is just that we can't cap anything. And if you have to pour concrete in order to put the standards in for those, I'm not sure if that's gonna pass or not.
Well, they seem to, they're not saying that that's an impossibility if the methane issues and the
No, not too.
drainage into the creek are taken care of. They're not saying, no, that's a no-brainer, no. Contractually, we have to get the city of Indianapolis approval because the original annexation
Yes,
required city of Indianapolis approval before it could be anything other than a park. So I don't know why they would say no, but that's out there.
Well, it would be collecting taxes for them, you know, so that's a
Sure,
good thing.
yep. So whatever comes first, as long as, it's,
Okay, can I just make a request then of our team? Would you mind reaching out to Denny Excavating and talk to them and see what their ideas and maybe their proposal might be, and just kind of have a discussion with them about that?
I would need to do that through the city administration, and I'm perfectly willing to be a part of the discussion.
Okay, Would you like me to lead that meeting? I mean, I could organize it and,
I would like to talk with the mayor, and
Okay.
all right.
Yep. Still love to get more information. I want to know who is getting to the prize hog first, I guess.
Yeah.
Whatever. That was a stupid metaphor, but you know what I'm saying.
It's one of the best opportunities in a quick development in Beech Grove right now. Yeah.
Grid Train, it opens up for the rest of CSX because they own all of CSX.
They own
all of CSX.
130 acres
They're-
right
yeah.
now of I-4 property.
Yeah.
That's the best property in Beech Grove by a long shot.
Yeah, okay. Cool. All right.
And I-4, by the way, means active railroad.
Yeah, okay.
That's
Cool.
why. It's
Cool.
very desirable.
Great. Yes, no, because we can get our hands on it to redevelop, they do that, we buy them, their old one, they put up for sale. Yes, I
Yeah.
foresee a good, foresee a path.
All right.
Cool.
fantastic.
All right, is there any other questions on the docket? Because I would, yes, Phil?
I got a question, I should have got Bob while he was up there. 8725, on here you got review prospective developer zoning inquiry. Is there anything you could tell us about that? I mean, that sounds like somebody wants to move forward doing something. Is there anything you can fill us in on that?
somebody just reached out, a company, I don't even recall who they were, saying that they wanted to know what the zoning classification was, and I let them know. And that, I'm not sure it should have been on the landfill side, because I don't think.
No, it's on the RDC one.
Yeah, and I don't even recall the property. And I apologize.
So how do they reach out? Who do they reach out to that you end up with it? I mean, do you have any idea what the chain of command was there?
I think it was an email, that somehow they had my email, but don't quote me on that.
Okay.
I'll have to.
Because again, these are things that we're supposed to do, so it'd be nice if, I realize that's preliminary, they just simply asked a question.
Yeah, what is the current zoning
Okay,
of X property?
but,
And it was industrial, what
Okay.
the property was. It may have been the former
I
CSC.
think the attorney's
okay.
mic is.
Well, I assume they probably went through the mayor's office, in which case we should,
You sure mic on? Can you speak into the,
Hello?
No,
oh, I think it stopped.
maybe it got turned off.
It was on earlier, it might have timed out.
Okay.
There we go.
All right, good, continue, yes.
we should probably
Uh,
let it be known within the mayor's office that if we get something like that, at least to contact you as the
Yeah,
president, to let
yes.
us know that somebody's interested in something.
Yes,
Nothing should slip past us. I don't care
Yeah.
how small it is, we should know
And
about
it may
this.
have come from the mayor's office, and it may have been forwarded to me to respond, because the mayor wouldn't necessarily know what the
Yeah,
zoning letters are.
sure.
I will ask on this one, when you're back in the office, can you find what the property we're inquiring about and email, either RDC or email me, and I will send it on there, because I think that's an open question. I personally also would like to know
I'll
what
try
they were
to-
asking about.
I'll try to track it
Cool.
back. I'll have to do an
get that
email
back,
search
Andrew?
or get a hold of Jim and, yeah.
Is that something that happens?
No, this is only the first or second time that's
Okay.
ever happened.
Interesting, yeah.
Like I said, I hate for anything to slip through our fingers,
Yeah.
so I'd like for us to know about it as well. Not that we could necessarily do anything, but at least we know that somebody's interested in X. Sometimes that gives you bargaining
Yeah.
power or whatever. so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Cool. All right, any other questions? The motion is on approval of the docket. All those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? The ayes have it, and the motion is approved. This meeting went faster than I thought. We can complete our agenda for this evening, just in time to go home for Thursday Night Football. So I'm going to ask for a motion to adjourn.
Sure, I'll make said motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Andrew.
Second?
Seconded by David. Thank you. All those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? The ayes have it, and we are adjourned at 7:05 PM. Thank you, everyone, and have a great evening, and hopefully it'll be fall soon.